Hello everybody, welcome to the MaffmanJones movie show. I am your host, John Maffio, and today I'm going to review Joker, the most controversial, dangerous movie in all of cinema. It's so dangerous, it's so maniacal, it's so nefarious, it is dangerous. It's a good movie, and I'll get more into that later. But I want to talk about some other things first. I recently saw Marriage Story at New York Film Festival. The first time I've been to that festival in 4 years. Last time I was there, I saw Steve Jobs. It was apparently the centerpiece of the festival, and I really liked it a lot. Borderline loving it, as I mentioned on Twitter, if you follow me on Twitter. It's a very raw, emotional movie. It's also pretty funny. Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson are incredible in it. It's going to be on Netflix in December. Going to be in theaters for a month in November. So if you have a chance to watch it, go see it. If you've been through a breakup or a divorce before, though, it may hit home really hard. The people in the movie are in like the theater and film space, so you may not be able to relate on that particular level. But the emotions they're going through a divorce feel very grounded, and you can honestly project yourself onto one of these characters because they're so damn good in the movie. So I would recommend it highly whenever you get the chance to watch it. Also, I went to New York Comic Con. And I don't know, maybe I've been going for 10 years. I still really enjoy it when I'm with my friends or with family. I have a good time. I walk around, I look at stuff. I end up buying something. It's the third year in a row I bought a Dragon Ball Z figure. And it's right to my left, or your right. But you can kind of see a little bit of it, I think. It's from the Frieza saga where Frieza and Goku fight. And he gets all pissed off and goes Super Saiyan. Basically that's all I did. I played Predator Hunting Grounds, the new game from the company that made the Friday the 13th game, and I enjoyed it. My friend played Predator, but he sucked, so we never got a chance to really get killed by the Predator, but it was fun regardless. I'm looking forward to playing that. One more thing before we get into the movie, Joker. I guess it kind of relates, so I can segue into it. The Martin Scorsese comments. Martin Scorsese commented on how the Marvel films aren't real cinema. They're like theme park rides, and it caused surprisingly, it caused a stir of emotions on social media. People making comments about how Marty is an idiot. People who were born in 2001 who know nothing except Marvel movies are out there going, who is this old hack trying to knock down the Marvel movies? He's Martin Scorsese. He directed Goodfellas. He directed Casino. He directed Mean Streets, Taxi Driver, Shutter Island, The Departed. He directed all these great films. He's like the Brian De Palmas and the George Lucases and the Steven Spielbergs of the world in the 70s, continuing onward, who made these trailblazing movies that created what we know as cinema today. So if you're out there just throwing out comments about Marty, saying that he's an idiot and he doesn't know what he's talking about, well, maybe you need to watch more movies. He's not wrong. These Marvel movies are like theme park rides. They're not. Some of them aren't disposable, but some of them are disposable movies. But recently they've been doing a better job of making movies actually have something to say and actually bring the emotion and bring, I guess, gravitas, and more than just being funny action movies with some memorable characters that have a couple quirks. But for the most part, yeah, they make 3 or 4 of them a year now. They're going to be on streaming services too. They're all over the place. It doesn't take away from the craft of these other movies. Like all movies, like I mentioned before, take a lot of time, patience, and effort and collaboration to get out into the world. It's really hard to do. But I can see what you're saying, where if you're comparing freaking Goodfellas to Captain America the First Avenger, very apples and oranges, very different kinds of movies going for different appeals, trying to get to different demographics. It's weird out there when everybody has a voice, so everybody can just like throw their opinion out there and be like, well, this guy, Martin Scorsese, thinks who he is. Well, look at these things that Marvel has done. Huh? They are cinema. Look, this scene, and that scene, and also this scene. Martin Scorsese, eat your heart out. I'm done with the internet. Having said that I'm done with the internet, let's talk about the movie that hasn't sparked interest on the internet at all. Joker! Directed by Todd Phillips, who directed the Hangover movies, Due Date, and War Dogs, and Old School, starring Joaquin Phoenix of Brother Bear and Gladiator fame, Robert De Niro, Zazie Beetz, amongst others. The movie is about a mentally ill man who descends into a place that allows him to become something that's greater than himself, the Joker, the DC character, the villain, the adversary of Batman. It's 2 hours. It's shot really well. That's not a surprise. It's acted very well. That's not a surprise either. Joaquin Phoenix should get nominated for Best Leading Role as the Joker. Arthur Fleck. Incredible musical score that kind of descends into madness with our character along the way. I like the trajectory of the story. It's not the most unpredictable story, but there are moments that I was taken aback by in surprise. Elements within the story that I was like, oh, well, I mean, it makes sense, but I also kind of didn't see that coming either. But then when you look back, it makes more sense. I really like the last 25 minutes of the movie or so, where we really get into that snap where Joaquin Phoenix, Arthur Fleck just really, like where it's building up to that climax, and that climax in a really disturbing way doesn't disappoint. I think people are overreacting though a little bit to it being a dangerous movie. I think there is a little bit of a thing where the media, the news, they kind of want somebody out there to like shoot up people dressed as a Joker or go to a screening and do it, because they keep projecting it out there in the world. They keep mentioning things about this movie, that it's dangerous and that it's a menace to society, and that it's going to enable somebody out there to be like, hey, it's okay to commit crime and murder people. And they keep saying it. Just shut up. Just shut up. Just shut up. How many movies out there have come out in the past 50 years that haven't condoned violence, but have unleashed violence within the characters that are in the movie? How many times have we seen a character fall into madness or fall into a place, a really sad place where they feel like they have to kill people, or the movies where people are inherently bad and they kill people all over the place all the time? It happens in movies every single year. But we're going to project this shit onto Joker, a movie that's about Batman's adversary who has always been a bad guy who murders people. That's what the movie was always going to be. Why is this a thing? It's a dangerous movie. The movie feels raw. It feels really disturbing and grimy, and it's done really well in that way, where I can see where people being like, ooh, I feel dirty for watching this. It's kind of, people should be careful in how they see this. But at the same time, this is a movie that was always going to be a certain way. Whether it was done well or not, it was always going to have that story of a man going crazy in one way or another and killing people, person, and doing it in a way that may be disgusting. But it's never there meant to condone the violence. It's just showing you a character going on a trajectory from bad to worse. The movie takes place in Gotham City, which has always been defined as a city that's just riddled in shit, literally and figuratively. I do think some of the dialogue is a bit on the nose. The whole movie is trying to say something. It's a very clear message about our world and what's going on in it almost every single day. I guess every single day, because it's just, there's always something bad happening, whether it's the politics or the violence or whatever it is. But the movie is clearly, obviously saying something about the state and condition of our Earth, and especially of America these days. I think Todd Phillips, too, does a great job of bringing this movie from beginning to end. It's pretty well paced for a film that doesn't really have all that much action, but you're always invested in what's going on from scene to scene. And scene to scene, nothing feels kind of jarring. The ending of the movie, from the big scene to the end, really hits you like a pile of bananas, like a pile of bricks, like a freight train to the face. It's terrifyingly visceral in how it's portrayed visually. And by the time we get to the ending, where we're supposed to feel not redemption, so to speak, but just the cleared finish line for the trajectory of the character of Arthur Fleck transforming into the Joker, it feels earned. Very much earned. And I really think the scene where it hits, where Arthur Fleck becomes Joker, I guess, it felt, I don't want to say the word iconic, I think it's pompous, but it felt like a moment that people aren't going to forget if you were really into the film. Maybe it is a little pretentious to say that out loud right away when the movie just came out a weekend ago, but sometimes you just feel things in your gut. And I mean, when we saw Dark Knight in 2008, I think we all knew that Heath Ledger's performance was going to be a role that people were never going to forget. So, like, when we got to that point in this movie, I was like, this is an unforgettable thing that's happening right now. I'm just appreciative, glad, and happy that the film exists for the conversation, for the debates, for the arguments, so that people can actually go out there and kind of see a movie that's kind of obviously made for the time that it was created in. It's a movie that when we look back on it in years, 5, 10, 15 years from now, it'll be a movie that's representative of the time that it was made in. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, it's a movie that sparks conversation and sparks your thought-provoking mind to kind of just go off and kind of just wander and think a lot about what's going on today out there. People are out there trying to condemn Joker for existing and being a movie that can enable somebody to be triggered to do something that's dangerous in our actual world. But we need movies like this to be out there, just as in contrast to these big Marvel movies, to these big blockbuster movies that aren't really saying much, but are just there to entertain us. We need movies that not just entertain us, but enlighten us and make us cognizant, if we're not cognizant already, of our actual surroundings. And I think I wouldn't go as far as to call it a great movie, but I think it's a pretty solid movie that contains an incredible performance that's worthy of watching. You don't have to see it in theaters, but I think everybody that is alive in this world out there should at one point check this movie out. If you feel safe enough to go see it in a theater, I understand if you don't want to see it in theaters, but if you want to wait till it comes out later on, watch it on DVD, watch it on Blu-ray, watch it on cable, on demand, wherever. But I think it's a movie that you should watch. I think it's a movie that will enhance your perspective on things, no matter where you stand. But we live in a world out there where on social media everybody has something to say, and people feel like when they get retweets or likes or whatever, they feel like their opinion is validated, and that makes them right. When it doesn't always make them right, it just shows that other people agree with their opinion, but it doesn't mean their opinion is right. So you gotta make your own opinion on this stuff. You go out there and watch this movie on your own, and you figure it out. Don't just follow a crowd. Don't be a sheep. Just you yourself have your own opinion. But then don't condemn, don't ostracize people for feeling a certain way. Now I want to know from all you boys and girls, what'd you think of the Joker or any of the topics I mentioned today, Comic-Con, Marriage Story, Martin Scorsese versus Marvel. What'd you think of the movie Joker? Do you agree with me? Do you feel the other way? Do you feel like this is a dangerous movie that shouldn't be out there, that shouldn't have been made? I am John Maffio. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please like the video. It helps out. Subscribe if you haven't so you won't miss a video ever again. And ring that bell so you'll always be notified next time you get a video on this channel. Howdy do lolly blah. I don't know what that means. That was just gibberish. But you can interpret it any way you want, because that's the world we live in. I've said that a lot. Tugalibu habalasa. Was that a remark that was negative, positive, sarcastic? You decide. See you next time.